I would love to see that in the chat. Just curious as to where you guys are coming in from. And also if you can put in the chat if someone told you about the opportunity, that our school, or if you applied. Awesome. See a lot of different places. Okay, that's cool. We see Minnesota. I think someone said it was on Meetup. I think someone may have applied through Indeed. That's awesome. Okay, so getting straight into this, I want to formally introduce myself and let you guys know the details of the career change opportunity, what it is, how you enroll, and those things. So let me go here. I'm going to share my screen, officially introduce myself, and take you guys through the presentation and what we're going to cover today. Okay, let me just pull this up for you guys. And I'm going to need someone to give me feedback that you can actually see my screen. Okay, I'm trying to find the screen that I want to share. I think it's this one. Let me make sure. Okay, just setting this up for you guys. Also, I'm out of curiosity, is everyone here new? Are you guys total? Are you coming in as a novice to IT, looking to, because this is the career change, or this is the career change opportunity orientation. So I'm just wondering if you're coming in as someone who has no experience, or you have some experience and you're just looking to switch careers, or which category you fall under. And also, if you can see my screen, just let me know that you can actually see. Oh, okay, awesome. Uh-oh, I don't know what's happening. Give me 1 second. Trying to share this again. I don't know why it was switched to that. I want to share the presentation with you guys. I apologize. This is taking, I don't know why it's doing. Okay, I see what it is. Let's see, try this again. Alrighty, can everyone see my screen now? Does everyone see navigating the world with, or world of IT with SCI Creative, finding your place? If someone can just give me a yes for that. Look at the, yes, awesome. Okay, let me go back one. So cool. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Shelly Ford, and I am one of the lead instructors with SCI Creative. And the purpose of today's orientation is this orientation is designed for those of you who are looking to start a new career in the IT, the information technology career space. And the purpose of this orientation is to help you, is to guide you through the different career opportunities that are available to you, and also to introduce you to the training that we offer to prepare you for those opportunities within that career space. So that's why, if for those of you who came in, the title of it was the career change opportunity. So the idea or the assumption is that you're currently working in the field and you want to transition out of that field. Maybe the field is customer service. Maybe it's we have a lot of people from construction who change careers. Maybe it's in the medical industry and you want to change careers. But the idea or the assumption is that you exist in a different career space, but you are looking to transition into the information technology career space. So that is the assumption of this presentation. And this presentation is dedicated, or this orientation is designed for those of you who are looking to change careers. And the purpose of it is to help you navigate that space, to figure out what courses you want to sign up for, and to introduce you to our school. So today let me move this down, make it kind of a little bit easier to follow. So in today's presentation, we're going to go through introductions, which I kind of already started. The objective is to simplify the world of IT. When I say simplify the world of IT, a lot of times we have an influx of students who are excited about the career space, but it's so vast. It's kind of like, I don't know if I want to go into cybersecurity, software development, AI, mobile development, full stack development, front stack, back end, what's the difference, right? So a lot of times there's a lot of talk around IT and a lot of confusion. So hopefully by the end of this orientation, you'll be more clear on the different career paths, what those career paths entail, and kind of have a more solid understanding of which direction you want to go into. Understanding the main 6 career paths, how to choose a career path that you will succeed in. So today we'll be talking about when you're choosing the career path you want to embark upon, which one you'll most likely succeed in. And then, of course, we'll talk about our enrollment process for our training, our career training courses, our enrollment and assessment process, and then I open up the floor for Q&A. Does that make sense to everyone? If you could drop a chat if you're on board for that and ready to get started with that. Alrighty, so again, my name is Shelly Ford, and I have been a software developer for over 10 years. And in addition to that, I'm also one of the instructors at SEI Creative, and I am still currently a software developer. I am also an instructor, and the cool thing about me, or at least I think it's cool, is that my entry into information technology was actually music. So I'm an artist at heart. I love music. I kind of got into information technology a while ago. So it was before we see what we see happening in the space with like the TikTok and like SoundCloud and before those opportunities that were there, my initial interest in information technology was just to share my music with other people. So I actually did not enter into information technology with the goal of being a software developer. I entered in as a musician, a singer-songwriter who was like, you know what, if I could create my own website, my own web application, and share my music with the world, that's what I want to do. And I just, you know, along the way, it resulted in me developing a very strong skill set and opening up an entirely different world for me to be able to fund all of the artistic stuff that I like to do through information technology. So that's a little bit of background about me, my story, and who I am and how I got here. So introducing you to SEI Creative, the boot camp, the information technology boot camp. SEI Creative was established in 2017, and the mission of the school is to challenge the narrative that tech is intimidating and challenging, to dismantle the mental barrier that keeps a lot of people from exploring all of the amazing possibilities and opportunities that tech has to offer. So that is the mission of the school. And another cool thing about the SEI Creative Bootcamp is that it guarantees employment within 12 months or full tuition reimbursement for everyone who enrolls in the school. Now, of course, that comes with stipulations of what you have to do to make sure you're doing your part. But that's another cool thing about this boot camp that's different. And I think one of the reasons the boot camp can be so confident to even make that type of promise to guarantee that, if you enroll in their classes, you're going to be hired within 12 months and you successfully complete. I think that the school, just from my experience, from the time that I've been in the school, is that for one, all of the instructors, the lead instructors are like myself, meaning that they have over 10 years of experience in whatever it is they teach. So the cool thing about that is we actively teach. So you're not getting outdated information or outdated training as you're looking to change careers. You're getting information from instructors who are currently in the field, and we're always bringing you the latest. So a lot of times our students are more equipped and they have a more competitive edge than students who may come from other boot camps where the instructor may not necessarily be active in the field. So I think that speaks to one of the reasons that the guarantee is there. And then too, as we continue to go through, our teaching structure is unique and our teaching structure is different as well. And it just it just performs better. And when I say it performs better, I think that we do a really good job of making everything plain, making everything simple to understand, just giving you a lot of support to make sure that as you go out into the career space and you're interviewing for different job positions, that you know how to come in the door with a competitive edge, you know how to answer the questions. You have a strong portfolio, which is a big one by the time you finish our career training, which again gives you a really, big competitive edge. We just and another thing that's unique about the school is and we'll get to this, I don't want to jump ahead, but the way our training is paced out, it doesn't I think that the school does a really good job of making sure you don't feel overwhelmed, and the way the information is taught, the way you're trained, you have enough time to retain it, and it just shows up in the interview process. So getting started, the first thing that we want to do on the agenda is my goal is to simplify the IT career space for you so that when you decide which career you want to pursue, right? I want to give you clarity so that you can clearly define and identify which career opportunity you want to pursue. Right. So I'm going to go through a series of explaining the 6 different career opportunities that are available to you, and we'll just go from there. So first step, let's simplify the IT career space. An easy way to look at, or the best way to look at the IT career space is to understand that all of information technology, that entire career space is just a team of people working together to create a digital clone of the physical world we live in, right? So when you think about information technology, see it this way. Information technology is a team of people working together to create a digital clone of the physical world we live in. That's the first thing for you to understand as you try to navigate this career space and figure out which career you want to pursue. An example I want to give is, I'm sorry, and as I simplify the IT career space, is that a thing that'll make it easier for you is to understand that all we're doing, so like us working together as a team, right? As developers, software developer, AI, all we're doing is we're building models. We're building models, digital models that represent physical things. So to make this simple, let's take the example of registering for school, right? And let's go back to like 1970, 1960, 50s, whatever. Let's just say you're a parent and you exist way back then and you want to register a kid for school. The traditional model would be that you would physically drive to the school, right? And then there would be a receptionist behind the desk at the school. They would give you an application. You would physically fill out the application, answer all of the questions to enroll your child in school, right? Now, the digital model of that now you don't have to physically drive across town, right? And walk into a building and physically hold a piece of paper and register your kid for school. Now you can just go online and everything about that physical model is replicated in a digital space. Let's give an example of artists, right? Because you have the graphic design hemisphere of information technology. Now, in the physical world, right, in our physical model of how artists operate, typically an artist would go to an art store, they would buy a canvas or paper, choose whatever their medium is, so whether it's paint, pencil, chalk, etc., and the colors. They choose the paint brushes, the sponges, whatever, and then they would begin to paint and draw. So let's translate that model. So we're all working together, right? And let's say we exist in the digital space and we want to replicate that model or that process, that art process in the digital world. That's where we have applications like Adobe Illustrator, right? So now you will go into Adobe Illustrator and you would choose digitally what you want the size of your canvas to be. And you would choose different paint brushes and different pencil sizes, the colors that you want, and you began to draw using your mouse or the mouse pad or a digital pen, right? So there were a set of software developers, software engineers who created the physical model of the art experience for artists within the digital space. Is this making sense? Are you guys following me? If I can get like a yes or a no, or it does make sense, it doesn't make sense. I just want to know if everyone is tracking with me. Cool. Same thing, like with going to see a performer, right? So, like if you go to a concert, and we all experienced this during COVID. During COVID, the whole world experienced the importance or the power of having digital models of things that we do in the physical world. But let's just talk about like concerts, movies, or live dance performances, right? Before, outside of the digital space, we would have to drive down to the ticket master, right? We would have to drive to the ticket booth and we would have to actually physically buy tickets, and we would get a physical paper ticket we hold in our hands. And then we would drive to the venue, to the performance art, to Carnegie Hall or wherever we're going. We would submit our ticket to whoever the usher was at the front door. And then we would walk into the building, we would sit in our seats, and then we would watch a beautiful performance. That's how it operates in the physical space. So in a digital space, right, you guys are signing up to be a part of the team that creates that digital experience. So you're the software developer who's saying, okay, I'm going to create a digital ticket that someone may see an IG or a TikTok or a Facebook ad, right? Whereas before, all of the ads were in the Sunday paper. So you're creating a replica or a clone of that experience, and now we have digital ads. And then you click an ad, right, on your phone or your tablet, laptop, whatever, and then you go through the purchasing process. And then, that model, we make sure that model replicates the process you would go through if you were physically driving to the ticket master and buying a ticket. And then the equivalent of walking into the space, like walking into Carnegie Hall or walking into the concert hall, you log into Zoom, or you log onto a live stream on YouTube, or you log into some type of live stream feed, which is the replica or the clone of you physically sitting in your seat, right? And then you would enter your verification code. So a lot of times, when you go through the ticket master in a physical location, they may actually take a physical piece of paper from you, or today they may scan your ticket, but they're verifying that you actually purchased the ticket. And in a digital space, you write and you create the code to verify, that the person actually made the digital purchase. So I'm just giving examples because I just want to really drive in that one of the first steps to just, you know, wrapping your mind around a digital space is just understand your job is to create a digital clone, a digital replica of everything that exists in our physical space. Same thing with cybersecurity, right? So how many of you guys, we've all like been to venues, been to baseball games, football games, concerts, and everyone has been through the metal detectors, right? You go to a baseball game and they want to make sure that no one is bringing in firearms or bringing in knives or something that can hurt someone else. So a lot of times if you get to a baseball field, when you walk in, there's anytime you go to any big event, there's always a police officer, a security guard who is guarding your entry, right? So you walk through and they scan you and they make sure you don't have anything that can harm the environment you're walking into. That's what happens in the physical space. So if we're creating a digital world, a digital replica of everything that exists, we have to have the same security so that when you walk into my virtual room, when you walk into my virtual Zoom, when you walk into my virtual concert, I want to make sure you're not trolling. Like I want to make sure you're not going to come in and do something that plants a virus on everyone's computer or takes over and people signed up to see Fish, and then you take over the screen, and it's like now we're seeing your concert, right? So we want to make sure those things don't happen. So the same way we have to replicate security before people enter into our digital spaces, and that's what the world of cybersecurity is. Is this all making sense? So again, to restate, first step in understanding where you fit in is to understand that this entire world of information technology is nothing more than a community of people coming together to build digital replicas of everything that exists in the physical space, in the physical world. So we're going to go through an exercise, and I want you to understand the main career paths. Now that you have that understanding, this is going to make a lot of sense. Imagine, right? All of you who are here with me on this call right now, imagine that all of you have been hired and you now exist in the information technology career space. And let's imagine that we're here to build a new world together that replicates the world we already live in. But you and I, like we all have to go through and we all have to do our part in rebuilding this whole world. So think about the overarching world that we live in. If you had to categorize the primary jobs of those responsibilities for our infrastructure, I want you guys to guess, what do you think are the 6 primary positions? I want everyone to participate in this before I move forward in the chat. So everyone here, let's imagine for a second that all of us are hired to replicate the digital world, to replicate our world in a digital space. What do you think are the 6 primary jobs or careers that it takes to rebuild this world? Everyone, please put in the chat. I'm going to wait like about a minute and I want to see what your answers are. What do you think? There are 6 primary job positions that must be filled in order to create a digital replica of the world we live in. What do you think those are? I want to see your answers. Someone said design. Yes, what else? But what are the 6 categories? I'll set the timer for like a minute. I just want to see what you say it is. Software engineering. I see marketing. What else do I see? What are the 6 roles? We got to hire 6 teams of people. And these 6 teams of people have to recreate the world we live in. I see design. I see marketing. I see medical. I follow. These are good guesses. I see data engineering with a question mark. Good. These are all good answers. Christopher said network, software, hardware, lifestyle, resource science. Awesome. Awesome. Let me reveal the answers. So let's first understand, and I saw designers. Woohoo, someone said designer, right? So look at the world around you. So let's take, for example, we're moving to a new place in North Carolina, and this place is just woods. There's nothing there but a forest. The first thing, a planner is going to come in. So we're going to have a planner who comes in, who looks at the landscape. They're going to look at how much land we have. They're going to look at the woods and what needs to, you have a planner. So the planner comes in, and the planner is going to come in with a idea of what they want to build, right? So for example, the planner is going to say we should have 5 different neighborhoods, and we should have 5 different streets, and we should have railway so that we have transportation to get from one end of the land to the other end of the land. You know what I mean? We should have malls, whatever. The planner is going to come in and plan what they want to happen within the space. So the planner comes in and they say, this is what we should have. Then after that, you have the infrastructure architect. So the infrastructure architect is going to come in and look at the plans, and they're going to say, okay, in order for you to have these houses positioned here, and in order for you to have these malls and these facilities positioned here, we need to run the pipelines here. We need to run the sewer lines this way. We need to make sure that we run the electricity and the electrical box under the ground this way so that it's safe. The infrastructure architects come in. Okay. So the infrastructure architects, they come in and they just make sure that the foundation is there, because you can't build anything. Like imagine if we were trying to build a house, you wouldn't build a house before they install the sewer lines. You wouldn't build a house before they make sure that like your power, your utility box and everything is in line so that the engineer can later come in and lay everything out. So you have to first know what you're building so that you know what type of infrastructure is needed for what you're building. So after the infrastructure architects come in and they put everything into place, then that's when you have the designer. The designer comes in, and now the designer is all about the aesthetic appeal, right? So the designer is kind of like, well, I think each one of the houses should be 100 feet apart because that looks aesthetically appealing. I think each one of the houses should sit, every neighborhood should have a sidewalk, and the sidewalk should be 5 feet wide. And everyone's yard should be at least, a quarter of an acre from the sidewalk. And then everyone's house should be tan in this neighborhood, and everyone's house in this neighborhood should be white, and they should all be colonial style homes. You know what I mean? So the designer, and then we should have trees on the tree lawn because that just makes it a more aesthetically appealing environment for people to live in. So we want to have maple trees, whatever, right? So the designer comes in and makes sure that the environment or the neighborhood is aesthetically appealing. And a designer comes in and then they write out the details of how everything is going to look, how the homes are going to be designed. Pretty much the design team will also include the what am I trying to say, guys? The person who creates the blueprints. The blueprints are going to be created. My mind is drawing a blank, but the blueprints are going to be created so that the actual details of the home every home is designed. Now, once that in place, the baton gets passed off to the builder, and the builder is going to follow the blueprints to make sure that each home and each building is built as not only functionally the way it should be the way it should function, but they're also going to make sure that each home looks the way it's supposed to look. Then after the builder builds everything, they kind of, the infrastructure is there, the house is there, the framing is there, the house is beautiful, almost, right? Before they put up the drywall and the walls, then the electricians and the plumbers, they come back, right? And then that's when they run the wires. That's when they, run the HVAC and everything that has to happen. Then, and then the painters and everyone else comes back in, then the drywall and all that stuff is done. And then the final thing, the home is finished now, or the building, whatever it is. And then the final step is safety and security. So now, the homeowner, they'll come in and they will install their security system. Those are probably the same 6 roles that exist in the physical world. So you got the planner, infrastructure architect, designer, builder, plumbers, electricians, right? Security. This is what that translates over to into the digital space. When you guys are looking at job descriptions, these are the job descriptions that you're seeing when you're looking for, what IT job you want to apply for. The planner, anytime you see the word product owner, think to yourself, the product owner is the planner. The product owner is the person who um, decides what they want to build. And that's the product owner. So if you're looking in the IT space, the BAs, how many of you guys have seen job opportunities for BAs? Have you guys seen that for Scrum Masters? How many have seen job opportunities for Scrum Masters? Let me hear a yes if you even know what that is, or if you've seen job opportunities for Scrum Masters. Yeah. So anytime you see a job description and it says job and it says Scrum Master, it says BA, which stands for Business Administrator. If you see a job so those people work within the planning category. Because typically what will happen at a corporation is a corporation will decide that they want to build something. And then you have the higher executives, they typically don't have a technical background. They just know what they want. So let's say, for example, there's a corporation that's an entertainment business, right? And let's just say the executives say, we want to build an event venue, and we want to create a digital event venue that allows people to buy digital tickets and to choose, like what type of avatar they want. And we want it to seem as if when they're in a room with each other, they can see each other, have a physical representation, so it looks like a big auditorium, and they can talk with their friends, and they, they're the visionaries, right? So the executives, they don't have any technical background, but they come up with everything that they want to do. The BA is listening, and the BA is actually writing down everything that we call them the product owners in the corporate world, that the product owners said that they want. So the BA sits there, the business administrator writes down all of the tech stuff, and this is part of the overall Scrum process when you see that. So after the BA it's a lot of conversations that go back and forth, right? So after they have the planning process, the BA has to communicate with the network engineers. So the network engineers are equivalent to the infrastructure architects. So anytime you see a job posting and the job posting says, we're looking for network engineers, in your mind, you need to understand that they're looking for people who are going to do the digital equivalent of making sure they lay down the plumbing, make sure that the electrical boxes are in the right place, right? But in the digital world, the infrastructure architect is going to choose whether or not this application is going to exist on a .NET environment, or if this is going to be a Node.js project, or if it's best designed and they're going to make sure that, okay, the infrastructure engineers are making sure, hey, if they expect that they're going to have 1 million people trying to log into this website, then they may need 10 servers, because they need 10 servers to handle the load of, all of these people coming to participate with this application. The network engineer is the person who's saying, we need to run the wires this way, right? So that when all of the developers are developing the application, they can all develop at the same time. The network engineers make sure that the data can flow between the end users and the people in the application, right? So the network engineers come in, they may physically, so say, for example, if you, let's just say you work for KeyBank, okay? And let's just say you work for the corporate side of KeyBank. The network engineers are going to literally physically come in and run all of the wires through KeyBank's corporate building, so that everyone who works within that building can talk to each other, so that their laptops can communicate with each other, so that the laptops are not freezing and running slow. They're going to make sure that all of the physical components that are needed for the infrastructure are there. That's what the network engineers do. So when you see job descriptions for network engineer, think of yourself as, if I were working in the physical world, I would be an infrastructure engineer, but that'll help you understand what job you're applying for. UX designers, right? The UX designers, think of yourself as a designer. So the UX designer, think of yourself as the person who works with the homeowner. So if it was a physical space, you're the person who would come in and say, okay, we want each room to be 20 by 20, and you want to have vaulted ceilings, and these are the types of doors you want, and this is how you want your kitchen to be designed, and you want it to be an octagon shape, and you want the walls, I don't know, you want French doors, whatever. The designer is designing physically how the space looks. So in a digital world, we call you guys UX designers. So anytime you see a job description and it says UX designer, understand that you are being hired to design the way the application physically looks. So if you work for Instagram, and if you are a UX designer, you're the person who said, I think that the profile avatar should be in the top left side of the application. And I think under the person's name, if there should be an option for them to edit their profile. And then I think that the application should display their posts in a grid of three. I think there should be three posts on each row. And I think each grid, right, each photo should be whatever the aesthetics are for Instagram. I don't know, maybe it's like 2 inches by 2 inches. I think each post should be 2 inches by 2 inches, right? And I think that it should be a scroll, and I think that it'll look visually appealing if the buttons are white, and the buttons should be pill shaped. So when you're looking at an application, every detail about the way the application physically looks, from the color scheme to the layout, so what you're visually looking at, that is the UX designer's job. The UX designer does not have to necessarily know how to technically develop the software, but they need to understand human psychology, colors, aesthetics, to understand how to best design the application. Once the UX designer finishes, they hand it off to the builder. If you've ever seen the job description for front-end developer, how many people have seen the job description for front-end developers? Yeah, front-end development, anytime, cool, yep. So anytime you see a job posting and they're advertising front-end development, you need to think of yourself as the builder. So in the physical world, if you were hired to actually build the home, right? So the front-end developers are the ones who come in and they're actually framing the house. You guys are the ones who are actually framing the house, building the stairs, building each room, laying down the wood, you're actually building a home. So let's flip this over, and mirror this in a digital space. The builders, the front end developers are the ones who actually build the application. So in order to build infrastructure, in order to build buildings in the digital space, so you use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the three primary tools that are in every front-end developer's tool belt, so to speak. Right. So in a home, if you're a home builder, everyone who's a builder, they have hammers, right? They have drills, they have nails, these, rulers. These are the primary bulldozers, cranes, right? Those are the tools that the builders use in the physical space. When you're replicating a building or a space in a digital space, your tool belt becomes HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the three primary foundations. You know how many people, is anyone in here into carpentry? Has anyone ever heard, or is anyone familiar with carpentry? Has anyone ever heard that you can build anything if you just have a hammer, nails, and a saw and a ruler? Has anyone ever heard that before, or something along those lines? I'm just curious. Has anyone ever heard that? Christian, Nadia, Kadeem, Julia. Has anyone ever heard that? Yeah. So in the world of IT, it's the same thing. You can build almost anything as long as you know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you have those things in your tool belt, you can pretty much almost always be able to build anything. So front-end developers are very strong in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And all of the frameworks, like when you hear things like Angular, React, they're all just different they're all just different, how should I put it? Like not instances, but they're different or more advanced so let me see, what's the word? When you hear like Node.js, Angular, those are just advanced versions of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. When you strip away all of the layers, it's going to come down to it's being compiled into JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So as a front end developer, those are your tools. Back-end developers, how many, let me hear, raise your hand if you've seen back-end developers as a job listing and you wonder, what is a back-end developer? A back-end developer would be equivalent to the person who comes in after the home is built, and they're the ones who install the plumbing and all of the electrical work and the HVAC. In applications, you're the person who comes in and you make sure that the data can be processed. So the front end developer builds the home, right? So imagine if you have a house and they built the house, but they did not what am I trying to say? The electrical work wasn't done. So you would come into this beautiful home and you would flip on a switch, but no lights would come on. You would try to use the microwave, but nothing would happen. Once a front end developer finishes the app, everything is there, but you got to have the back end so that something actually happens when you click the buttons within the application. So going back to our Instagram example, if you worked for Instagram and if you were the front end developer, you're the person who actually built everything out based on the blueprint or based on the designs that the UX designer created. Then the back end developer for Instagram will come in and will make sure, okay, if Nadia has 10,000 or Nadia has 10,000 followers, every time she leaves the app and she comes back, we need to make sure that she knows she has 10,000 followers. So the backend developer is creating the data structure to hold on to the information that the application needs to hold on to. If someone likes your post, if you get 20 likes, if the back end is not there, when you come back, how the application won't remember that your post got 20 likes. So the back end developer is developing the data infrastructure to receive the information from the front end and to hold on to it so that that data and that information can be accessed, utilized, and used later on throughout the application. So the back end developer, you guys, you're going to know some sort of database, whether it's MySQL, whether it's Mongo, you're going to know some type of database structure, and you're going to have to know how to talk to the database. So that means that you're either using PHP or you're using C# or you're using JavaScript now with Node.js, but you're learning some type of language so that you can create the data structures on the back end. Right. So back end developers, a lot of times when you look at those job descriptions, they're going to ask that you know C#. They're going to ask that you know what's another one? Java, or they're going to ask that you know Node.js. They're going to ask that you either know how to work with SQL databases or how to work with Mongo databases or right. So you're going to always see those types of qualifications on the back end. Is going to be very data heavy because back end developers make sure that the data can be retrieved and held on to. You're going to see a lot of talk about APIs, right? APIs it's just the application interface, and the application interface just makes sure that whenever the data is needed, it can be accessed and it can be retrieved. And then cybersecurity. Again, cybersecurity, when you see the term cybersecurity, think of yourself as being the person who's going to make sure no one can break into the home. Translate that over into the digital space, you're going to be the person who makes sure that no one can break into the application and cause harm to the application. So when you guys are deciding what class I want to sign up for, you need to know what career you're signing up for. Because I think what we see a lot is we see people feel overwhelmed, and you kind of like have a vague understanding of what the career space is, but not a solid understanding. And then what ends up happening is people sign up for classes and they're not really sure what they're signing up for. And the boot camps are expensive, right? Boot camps are typically anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. You need to understand what you're signing up for and that you're actually going to enjoy it and that you're going to like it. Because you don't want to get like 16 weeks in, $10,000 in, and you signed up for network engineering because your friend told you it was cool and you had no idea what network engineering was, and you're like, I hate this. I do not like being the person who comes in who sets up the infrastructure. So just trying to give you guidance there. When you're choosing a career path, when you guys are deciding, which IT career you want to sign up for, these are the rules. Be true to yourself. You need to know what you really enjoy. And you need to choose an IT career based on your true passion and your true interest. Because whatever IT career you sign up for, you're going to be doing this for 8 to 10 hours a day. A lot of time, the IT career space is very attractive because it's lucrative. Everyone knows, like, I want to change my life. I want to get into IT because I can ramp up and start making, six figures really fast. Or I can at least be on the higher end of like the 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a year within a year if I really dedicate myself. And that's very appealing to people, and everyone kind of rushes in, but a lot of times we are seeing in the space people are rushing in not understanding what career path they're rushing into, and you don't want to just make more money. You want to actually enjoy what you do. So be true to yourself, know what you really enjoy, and choose an IT career space based on your true passion and interest. Here's something that'll help you kind of navigate this. Product owners. If you identify as a person who's a visionary, if you see yourself as an inventor, if you see yourself as a way that you enjoy thinking of ways to make things better, if you have good foresight and you can see how systems and things can be better, people often call you a problem solver. You probably will be really good existing in like that Scrum space, Scrum Master, product owner, business administrator, that whole space within the information technology career space will probably be a space where you will thrive and you'll actually love your life. You won't hate your life because we don't want you to hate your life. But think about it. Like if are you that person? Like, are you a person who's a visionary and inventor, just always thinking of ways things can be better? You'll thrive in that space. For network engineering, if you're a person who loves puzzles, like, so the job that I work now, we always have like this 1,000-piece puzzle on the table. And it's just so funny to me that a lot of times the back end people and the network engineers, they solve these puzzles so fast, but it just kind of makes sense because that's who they are. If you're a person who loves puzzles, you love figuring out like complex Sudoku puzzles, if you're a person who pays attention to detail, if you have a natural knack for decoding patterns, if you enjoy building models, like if you're that person who you love building airplane models, car models, etc., you enjoy taking things apart just because you want to see how they work, you probably will thrive as a network engineer. That's a good match with your personality. That's a good match with your interest. UX designers. UX designers are also people who pay attention to detail, but you're the person who pays attention to detail. Say, for example, if you're getting dressed, everything has to be right. Like, you're going to notice if a hair is out of place. You're going to notice if you ironed your clothes, if you didn't iron your clothes, if you tucked everything in. Even outside of like your physical appearance, you're the person when someone comes to your home, people always compliment your home. Like, oh, your home is so beautiful. How did you think of putting these colors together? How did you choose this artwork? How did you, if that's your personality, you're probably going to really thrive as a UX designer. If you're passionate about creating quote unquote the vibe, like everything is about the feng shui for you, if you're that person, you will love being a UX designer because if you love color coordinating, if you love visual art and design, you're going to thrive in that space because that's what UX designers do. So UX designers hear what the product owners want to do. The UX designers, you're going to get the information that they want to create this virtual concert hall, but your mind is going to say, oh, when people come to this application, it would be so cool if the colors were like orange and like a buttercream, and if the buttons look like tickets, and it would be so cool that when someone clicked on a ticket, it actually was a digital ticket. Like the whole visual aesthetics of the application, if you thrive in there and you get goosebumps just thinking about it, then UX design will be a good career path for you. Front-end developers, again, also love puzzles and building blocks, love putting things love putting things together. Like if you're the person, you just love going to IKEA, there are two groups of people. There are people who love IKEA and there are people who hate IKEA. Front-end developers love IKEA because for whatever reason, we love putting stuff together. If you get like a really awesome sensation or sense of satisfaction when you build like woodwork projects, car models, airplane models, if you just love the way it feels to build something, you'll thrive as a front-end developer. You enjoy visual art and design. Front-end developers are kind of artsy too. So front-end developers are kind of like that middle space between the UX designer and the back-end designer. Personality-wise, front-end designers kind of live in the middle. If that sounds like you probably will really enjoy front-end development. Back-end development. Back-end development, again, it sounds similar to when we were talking about network engineering. You guys love puzzles. You love figuring out complex Sudoku puzzles. You're known for paying attention to detail. You have a natural knack for decoding patterns. You're always the person who can figure out the riddle or figure out, some type of complex trick question. You enjoy building models such as airplane models, car models, etc. And you too enjoy taking things apart and seeing how they work. So if you notice, there's a lot of parallels between the back-end developer and the network engineer. This is your personality type. If these are your tendencies, you'll probably really enjoy back-end development and or network engineering. You just kind of exist in that space. Cybersecurity. People who will thrive and love cybersecurity, you're just always down for a good game of Clue. Like you love murder mysteries. You love figuring out who did it. Right, you get a kick out of stopping crime in its tracks. A lot of times, people who thrive in cybersecurity, you're always on the neighborhood watch committee. If that's your personality, like if you're out and about and you feel a sense of obligation to protect, rights and injustice, to right injustice, if you're a little bit more passionate than the average person, and you notice you're probably really good in cybersecurity. These people typically have a personality type that would gladly be an activist to stop a crime. You're the person, you work at Walmart, someone steals something. Some workers are just gonna be like, well, it ain't my problem. I'm not, but your personality is like, oh my God, I just can't stand for people to get away with stuff. And you're the person chasing someone in the parking lot. You probably will be good at cybersecurity. Um, People who are good at cybersecurity also have a heightened sense of satisfaction when you know that you contributed to preventing some type of wrongdoing. Like if that's your personality, you'll probably really enjoy the whole world of cybersecurity. You'll get a kick out of it. So my question, I really am curious, now that you guys have a solid understanding of the different career spaces that are available to you, I am very curious to know, of the people who are here, what are you most interested in now that you have the knowledge you have? Do you see yourself as a product owner, network engineer, UX designer, front-end developer, back-end developer, cybersecurity? I really want to know. Let me know. Let me know. Everyone, let me know. Front-end developer, front-end developer, UX designer, cybersecurity. Cool. Cool. Yep. Do you think that, out of curiosity, just so that I can get feedback, going through the explanations, did these explanations help you better identify which career path you would want to embark upon? Can I get a yes? Or if you still feel confused, that's okay too, because then I'll know I need to change up the way I explain it. But if this helped you get a more solid understanding, let me know either way. I'm not going to be offended whether it's a yes or a no. I just need to know so that I know how to adjust and pivot. Cool. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, so now that we've gone through that, let's get to the part of taking advantage of this career change opportunity. Now it's all about enrollment because I just wanted you guys to be clear what career paths are available to you so that when you sign up for class, I want you to be able to zero in on what classes you're signing up for. We are not interested in you signing up just because we want you to sign up and we want our enrollment numbers to be high. We really do want you to have a pleasant experience. We want you to feel good about the career path that you choose because when you're happy, you tell other people that you're happy, and ultimately that helps us be a more successful school. So that's why I know that this presentation is not orthodox and is a little bit different than how most people or how most schools conduct orientations. But we just kind of understand and know that you guys need to really understand what you're signing up for. And our primary goal is just to help you clear up the fogginess, whether you enroll in our school or a different school. We just really want to make sure that we do our part to help you understand what career paths are available to you. So as you're signing up, the process is a 10 open house, right? This is kind of like your official open house. Research career paths. Now, I've already started you. I felt like my goal was to give you a really strong foundation of the different career paths. You can do more research into those career paths on your own. Then you choose a career path. Now, once you choose a career path, you're going to come back to the school and you're going to choose which career path you want to sign up for because that's the boot camp you should sign up for. So those of you who said UX, you should sign up for the UX design boot camp. Those of you who said front end development, you should sign up for the UX design and the front end development boot camp because they go hand in hand. Those of you who said cybersecurity, our school does not currently offer cybersecurity courses. So we don't have any courses to help you down the cybersecurity path at this time. Right. But so whatever your career path is, you choose a career path. After you choose a career path, of course, you pay and you enroll in school, and then you go through your first week of assessment, and then you continue your journey. So that's going to be the process for you moving forward from here. Now let's talk about the financing, the scholarships, the earn to learn, and the paid internship. Um, the way our school is designed, I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I want to show you guys the school's website so that you understand how our career paths are designed. We have career tracks, and our career tracks are super cool because they are 8-week career tracks. So every 8 weeks, you are in a position to start applying for new jobs. And that's another thing that makes us unique. Most boot camps are 16 to 22 weeks, 16 to 24 weeks. And what we have realized is that 16 to 24 weeks can be overwhelming, and there's a lower retention rate for 16 to 24 weeks. A lot of times people who are coming into IT, the reason you're coming over is because you want to quickly switch jobs. And what we found out is that over the 24-week period, there are actually a lot of job certifications that happen within that 8 to 24 weeks. Within that 24 weeks, if we take the time and stop and actually certify you guys along the way, you learn a lot over the course of 24 weeks. And within that 24 weeks, you're actually being trained in 3 to 4 different job opportunities. So what we did is we kind of identified that, took that out. And even if your ultimate path is a 24-week journey, our goal is to get you up and ready to apply for jobs in as early as 8 weeks. So let me explain it to you and share my screen again. Can everyone see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Cool. Okay. So this is, if you haven't already been to our website, this is the school's website. It's SCI Creative. And our thing is launch a career in IT in as little as 8 weeks. The average entry-level positions right now are anywhere from 63 to 90,000 a year, depending on you, how strong your portfolio is, and what career path you're choosing. So these are our career tracks. So we have an 8-week UX design career track. So our goal is to get you through that, get you certified so that within 8 weeks, you're in a position where you can start applying for UX design positions. The median salary right now in the US for UX designers is about 90,000 a year. Front end development, again, 8-week career path, right? And one thing to understand about the career tracks is that they stack on top of each other. So the way you would enroll is you would start off, everyone except for the full stack. So if you're existing in that UX, the front end developer, if you exist in the full stack developer, you stack. So you're stacking your 8-week career tracks so that as you go from here to here, there's a job opportunity as a UX designer, there's a job opportunity as a front-end developer, there's a job opportunity as full-stack developers, and then there's a job opportunity for MERN-stack and mobile developers, but they're building blocks. So you're stacking your skills, and as you become stronger and stronger, you level up in terms of the jobs that you qualify for. The interesting thing is what blows a lot of people's minds is that the UX designer position is an 8-week ramp up. There's no technical there's no software development required for the UX designer, which is why they can ramp up so early. Because as a UX designer, you're not learning software development. You're not learning how to code an application. You don't have to learn C# or HTML or CSS. You learn a different stack of technologies. You're learning things like user experience, what makes the application pleasant for the user, and it just doesn't take a long time to ramp up on that. So you got the 8-week UX designer course, the front end developer course. So you would typically be coming from this stack and then sign up for UX design. I believe every front end developer should have a strong understanding of UX design because you're still working on the front end, and it's just good, and it makes you more marketable if you have both. For front end developer, you stack up, right? And then you go into full stack, but you have to have an understanding of both, and then mobile and app developer. So these are our career tracks. Let me share my screen again. Go back to the other part of the presentation. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you guys. I wanted to tell you guys the salaries again. Let me share this, bring this back. Okay, so for those of you who are going into UX design, right now the median income from UX designers is $90,000 a year in the US. For front-end developers, the median salary right now is $98,000 a year. Full stack developers, the median salary is $127,000 a year. And for MERN-stack mobile developers, the average salary is $124,000 a year. When you're coming into the career space, where you fall within these numbers is going to have a lot to do with how strong your portfolio is and what how you interview. It's going to come down to how you interview and how strong your portfolio is. A lot of times in a lot of times in development, people hear these numbers and then I don't think they honestly understand what it takes to hit these numbers. To hit these numbers is going to take you really having a solid understanding of going through school. So when you go through the classes, you need to really buckle down and make sure that you have the time to really understand the technologies that you are studying. And your portfolio needs to be awesome. We make sure that you have at least 3 projects in your portfolio. I'm sorry. We make sure you have at least 3 projects in your portfolio so that when you interview, you can compete for these salaries. Now, I will say that as a new developer, a new UX designer, you should be flexible. So if you come into a company and the company is kind of nervous about taking a chance on you, and they say, your portfolio looks awesome, but you don't have any experience, we're going to start you off with, are you comfortable with 80,000? Don't feel as if a company is trying to cheat you if they try to negotiate beneath what the median income is right now, because depending on your background, if you're coming in with 0 experience, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Allow yourself the opportunity to learn and to gain experience, because okay, maybe the first year as a UX designer, you come in at 80,000 a year. But if you gain a year of experience, after that year, you can always start applying for jobs after the first year. And now you have legitimate experience to push for the 90 plus a year. So just think long term. Like don't be quick to just think immediate. Um, immediate gratification, so to speak. You don't want to negotiate too low though. You shouldn't be 20 to $30,000 under the median. That's not, but you know, $5,000 to $10,000 of negotiation, that's okay for you to gain the experience because you got to think it's going to give you the leverage so that within a year you can level up even more and apply for even more high paying positions. Does that make sense to everyone? That's very important. I really wanted to make sure I expressed that. Okay. Alrighty. So going back to this part of the presentation. Yeah, so our 8 week career models that I just showed you, the cool thing about it is that it makes the full stack path more affordable. Another thing is also because we break it up into 8 weeks, you don't have to pay for the entire 24 weeks all at one time, and that makes it way more affordable to sign up for the school. It also allows you to concentrate and focus. One of the biggest complaints with boot camps right now is that there's so much information dumped on people. People are feeling overwhelmed and feeling like they can't keep up or grasp what they need to actually be able to compete for the jobs. I don't know if you guys know anyone else who have been in boot. Do any of you know anyone else who have signed up for boot camps, or have any of you in the chat signed up for boot camps before? Or have any of you ever heard this from anyone? Yes, no, just curious. Me done by phone. Okay, Chris, so what do you feel about it? Do you feel like that's do you feel like that's a do you feel like that's a common complaint?
About the price?
Yeah, no, not about the price, but about the do you feel like that's a common complaint in terms of the information just coming in and being so strong, so
Um,
overwhelming? Have you ever heard anyone talk about that?
I mean, everyone has different like difficulties when it comes down to a certain field. I believe
Hmm.
that if you want to learn how to, bake a whole cake, you got to
Hmm.
start from the basics. You can't just go to the full,
Right.
wooden cake. But
Yep.
that's a lot of problems nowadays. Hmm.
Mhm. Cool. Yep. Exactly. So the financing and tuition for our 8 week career tracks, our 8 week career tracks are broken down. Well, typically they're $5,997 for each 8 week career track. Right now they're $4,997 for the 8 week career tracks. And what that does is, like I said, typically boot camps range anywhere from like $5,000 to $20,000 for the full stack, like if that's your path. What we found is when we break it up into 8 week career tracks, it makes it more affordable because now you can break that up into 8 week chunks. And then not only do we break it up into 8 week chunks, but you're employable every 8 weeks. So yeah, that's how we break it down. So we break it down into 8 week chunks to make it more affordable. And in addition to that, we still offer payment plans for that. So you don't even like, even if people can't afford the $4,997, there are payment plans that break it down into monthly payments so that it makes it even more affordable for you. But what I am focusing on today is the fact that our school, we have over $1 million that have been dedicated to what we call the Tech Opportunity Scholarship Fund. The Tech Opportunity Scholarship Fund funds up to 90% of your tuition coverage. So those of you who apply for the Tech Opportunity Scholarship Fund, up to 90% of your tuition covered, the only part you're responsible for is like $499.70 or something like that. And those scholarships are available as long as the funds are available. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this or not, but there's like this big, there's a lot of things going on in tech. And I don't know if you guys follow the news or follow the understory behind it, but there's two major things happening. One thing is tech is moving super, super, super fast. And corporations have this huge need for developers, software developers, UX designers, just information technology professionals. But there's a huge gap. It's really like we're in a state of emergency in the tech world because there's this huge gap between the jobs that are available and the people who actually have the skill set for the jobs. In addition to there being a huge gap, there's also a huge gap in representation of all cultures and backgrounds. So those are two primary issues that are plaguing the information technology world: underrepresentation of minorities and women within the space, and then just an overall lack of talent to fill the positions. So there's a lot of governmental funds, there's a lot of private funds. There's a lot of scholarships being created to try to just hurry up and get people into the space. There's a lot of there in the US, there's a lot of hiring that's taking place overseas where companies have no choice but to have to choose. We have to pick from everywhere because for there may be 68,000 jobs. I'm just making up a number. This isn't an actual number, but just to give you guys context, there may be 68,000 job opportunities in front end development today, but only 30,000 people have the skill set within the US. That's what we're looking at. And technology is moving so fast that companies are like just collectively, like from corporate to governmental, there's just like this huge push. We have to get people in tech. We have to get people ramped up. We have to make sure they have the skill set, and we got to get them in there. And there's two things. Like I said, there's the just the overall lack of people who have the skill set to fulfill the positions is a real big problem. And then the underrepresentation of minorities and women is a real big problem. So that's why our school has a scholarship fund of over $1 million to kind of help bridge that gap. So the scholarship is not only for the underrepresented population, but is also for the population who financially, the $5,000, the $20,000 is a strain. So if you fall under any of those categories, if you fall under the category of the underrepresented population, so like if you are a minority, if you're a woman, if you fall under that classification, you qualify for the scholarship. If you don't fall under that, but you're just a person who's like, I want to get into tech, but the $15,000, the $20,000, the $5,000 is just it's a financial barrier for me. You still qualify to apply for the scholarship, no matter what your ethnicity is, no matter what your background is. The scholarship is for everyone. So I really encourage everyone to apply for the scholarship because it can cover up to 90% of your tuition. And again, that scholarship is going to take like I said, our tuition is $4,997. I would strongly encourage you guys, like while the funds are there, apply for the scholarship because scholarship is going to take it down from $4,997 to $499.70. So, yeah, and then to even break it down even more, because our school offers equal payment plan options to everyone, even that is still eligible for being broken down into to a payment plan, installment payments. So even that should be two payments. That's a mishap, but yeah, even that can be broken down into payments of $249.85. So what would happen is you would, if you were awarded the scholarship while the funds last, you would make an installment payment of $249.85 before class starts, and make sure you make that other installment payment before the first day of class. So I highly recommend that everyone applies for that while the funds last. I'm going to stop recording because I want to hear from you guys. I've been talking a lot and I'm quite sure you have questions. So let me stop recording so that you can freely ask questions and not have to worry about being recorded. Okay. Questions. Let me look at the questions and I want to answer your questions. Let me do this really fast. I have a question that says, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this up. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to look at your questions. Okay. I have a question. Oh, I see Chris's response. I have a question that says, will the payment plan include the guarantee of a job? If we do not get a job, do we? Yes, that doesn't change. Like the school's policy is the school's policy. So the question was, in the beginning, I said that the school guarantees that you'll be hired within 12 months or you get full reimbursement. And Chris's question was, well, if I come in under the scholarship, do I still have the reimbursement guarantee? Yep, you do, because the school, you're not getting anything different. You're still getting the same experience. You're still in the same classes. So yeah, of course. Are there any other questions?
I had a question,
Yes.
and I hope it's easier to just say it, but
Mhm.
will we be working on any projects that we can actually put on our resume, or how does that work?
Yes, that's an excellent question. You will, in order to complete, like to gain your certification, there are three portfolio projects. So every 8-week cohort it's required that you complete three portfolio projects, and your instructor walks you through the portfolio projects. So whatever you're learning, so let's just say you sign up for UX design, you're going to have three portfolio projects that are UX design projects that you take with you when you interview. Someone asked, will there be unlimited Slack group communication where we can always, yes, yep. Slack is definitely one of the forms of communication. Chris's question was, is there unlimited access to Slack? Which is, for those of you who don't know what Slack is a messaging application where groups of people can talk to each other. You can talk to your instructor, you can form tutoring groups, and you can kind of talk to each other, that sort of thing. Yes. Are there mentor meetings? If so, how many meetings a week? Awesome, Chris. Chris knows this stuff. So this is one thing that I'm super excited about with our school. One thing that's cool about our school that's different is that all of your classes are taught by a live instructor. So we're not a lot, sometimes schools, there's different levels of boot camps, right? But some boot camps are like pre-recorded, and then you kind of go in and you watch the instructor, and then they have mentorships where if you have questions. I think that we have a competitive edge because your instructor is there with you, and each instructor has an instructor assistant. So let's just say, like, if you're working through homework and you're working through an assignment, there's something you don't understand. We have set days that are tutoring days, depending on your class. So let's just say, like, your set day for help, let's say it's, I don't know, I'm just making up a day, but let's just say it's Tuesday from 6 until 9 p.m. and then it's Thursday from 6 until 9 p.m. You can always jump in on that call with a live person, just like you're talking to me back and forth in real time, and get help with whatever it is you're struggling with. So um I think that our format is even better and superior, honestly, because what you will do is, let's say you're working through your project and you have a question, you would submit the question so that the mentor or the tutor knows what your question is. So they're going to show up ready to answer whatever your question is and to help you work through that problem.
I
Any,
had another
mhm,
question. I was
yes.
just wondering, are classes running like every 8 weeks then, or like I don't know how to
Mhm.
ask my question. Basically, are the same classes running every 8 weeks, or is there like a certain schedule for it?
Yeah, awesome. So the start dates, and I don't know if the winter dates have been updated yet, but the dates are always on the website in terms of like when. So there's a winter, spring. Am I saying that right? Yeah, winter, spring, summer, fall. So there's winter cohorts, spring cohorts, fall cohorts. I feel like I'm getting my seasons mixed up. And winter cohorts. Did I say that right? The point is, all four seasons run cohorts, and the dates are always listed on the website in terms of when the cohort is starting. So, like the UX design cohort, I know because I'm teaching the UX design cohort, is starting February 23rd. So that 8-week cohort is coming up, and it starts February 23rd. Any other questions? These are all awesome questions, by the way. Do we apply for the scholarship before or after enrollment? So so the way the enrollment process is you guys have already started because you come here. After you come here, you would fill out Let me make sure I say this right. You would click on the 8-week career track that you want to sign up for. When you sign up for that 8-week career track, there's a enrollment form that you fill out. During the enrollment form, you also fill out the application for the scholarship. So you want to, because you want to secure the funds before class actually starts. So the enrollment form and the application for the scholarship, you do those simultaneously while the money is there for that. And then after you sign up, there is a skills assessment that happens. The skills assessment test is there to make sure that you can actually survive through class. I think our skills assessment is really cool because we actually assess you in class. What we've learned and what we found out is that testing isn't a fair assessment because some people just suck at tests. And a lot of people are being not afforded or not given the opportunity to participate because they don't test well when they actually really do have the skills to succeed. So we found it's better for us to assess you the first week. So what happens is during that first week of class, you're actually being assessed and that's your assessment test. And if we notice that maybe you need more help in terms of just basic computer literacy, or if there's something else that we think you need to strengthen yourself in to succeed, we will definitely let you know. And if we feel like you need to pivot or you need to redirect yourself, we will give you all of your money back and tell you, hey, we need you to sign up for computer literacy first. And then once you know the basics, then come back into the class, because we're not going to just have you suffer through 8 weeks and you can't keep up, you know what I mean? And you feel frustrated and you feel like you can't succeed at it. And then you feel sad, right? And then we feel sad. So we don't want to do that, but that's the process. So the process is initially you will choose the career track that you want to sign up for. You fill out the enrollment form and the scholarship form simultaneously. Then you'll get a letter back to let you know like how much of if while the scholarship was there, like how much of your tuition was actually covered, right? And then from there, you will move forward, you will enroll in the class. And then after you enroll in the class, can you guys still hear me? I had a call come through. Can everyone still hear me? Okay. And then after you enroll in the class, you start the first week of class. The first week of class is our in-person assessment, and then you keep moving from there. Any other questions? After the boot camp, can we always fall back to the mentors for help on current projects? You mean like once you actually get hired at a position, are you asking me like, can you like ask your mentor? That's kind of, now I'll be honest with you about that part of it. That kind of depends on the personal relationship that you form with your instructor. Because sometimes this is another thing about the school. So you can always log back and you can ask questions, but I want to be very transparent about this. We are very serious about making sure we don't overcrowd classes. An overcrowded class does not give you a good experience. So our classes are not more than like 10 to 15 people per class, because we really understand that we need to be able to answer your questions. We need to be able to talk to you. We need to be able to jump on Zoom with you. That's really, really big, right? So if we allow if we allow everyone to like forever come back and ask questions, that's gonna eventually what'll end up happening is you'll have an instructor who has like 200 people by the end of the year asking them questions, and then you may feel slighted. So the only time that I can, or the school can guarantee that you're going to have like that quick instant back and forth is during your cohort. Now, once you graduate, yes, you can always ask questions. You can always reach back and ask, but I just want to be very clear that um, whoever is actively in that class at that time has top seniority or top priority in terms of the response of the questions. So I'm guessing no. So I'm open. There is not an open office hour where people can go and hang out. And is that what you're asking? So I'm guessing it's not an open office hours where people can go. No, because SCI Creative is a virtual school. So all of our classes are taught online, which is why we have students from all over the place. These are excellent questions. I love the questions, by the way. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So with enrollment, if I enroll with the UX design and use the scholarship, after the 8 weeks, I go to the next front end. Do I have to get another scholarship or how does that work?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I've never had that question before. So two parts to your question. The first part, do you have to keep going? It's up to you. There are certifications at each level. Some people, their ultimate career goal is UX design. If your ultimate career goal is UX design, then you're done after UX design because that's what you want to do, right? You don't want to be a front end developer. You don't want to be a full stack developer. You genuinely want to be a UX designer. So after you finish your 8 weeks and you receive your certification as a UX designer, that's it. Now it's just about you applying for positions as a UX designer, and then you go and you get hired and you have a happy career and you keep building experience. For those of you who want to continue going, I would encourage you to keep, as long as the scholarship funds are there. Once the scholarship funds are not there, they're just not there, right? But there are still other I feel like the school does a good job of making it affordable. And what I mean by that is, let's just say like by the time you finish your, let's say the first 8 weeks you do UX design, and then you want to also do front end development. And let's say you go back in and you wonder, is there still money available if I want to do front end development? And let's say you're awarded a scholarship for that too, and it covers 90%, right? So yes. But let's just say you want to keep going, and I'm just making this up hypothetically. Let's say you get to full stack, and by the time you get to full stack, those scholarship funds are gone. So it's the $5,997 for that 8 weeks. The school still has ways to make it very affordable for you, where you can apply for financing, where it breaks down to like monthly payments. You can do installment payments, where it breaks down to, I think it's 3 or 4 payments where they break that up. So that's a very good question. And so those are the answers. One, you are not forced to keep going through all of the stacks. Another thing is some people already have experience too. So some people who sign up for the boot camp, they are actively front end developers. Like that's what they do. That's their job. And they want to be mobile developers or they want to be full stack developers. So they don't even have to go through UX front end because they already do it. So they would go right into full stack because they're already currently front end developers. Does that make sense? So it's just like everyone's career path is different. Have any other questions? And did that make sense? Okay, good. He said he got it. Thanks. Okay, Kadeem. Any other questions? All right. I don't see any more questions coming in, so I'm assuming I've answered all the questions. That's awesome. So out of curiosity, how many of you guys are signing up for UX design or see yourself signing up for the upcoming cohort? I'm just curious to know who I'm going to see on the other side. Cool. Cool. That's awesome. So after this call, I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited about you're gonna love, love, love this. I feel like you're gonna love it. Oh God, when you sign up, good question, Chris. When you sign up, there's an official. So this presentation or this orientation was about career change opportunities. So the objective here was for me to just like make sure you guys understood the career paths, make sure you understood what career paths were available to you, and make sure you understood the financing. When you guys sign up, there's open house for your class. And the open house for your class, it tells you what the hours are, what the days are, and also once they announce the times for the upcoming cohort, excuse me, on the website, it also lists the days and the times there. Now, for the UX, well, this is what I know. All of our classes are geared towards adults who work and have current jobs and current families. So all of our cohorts are on Saturdays. from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. in the evening. That's how all of the cohorts work. All of the cohorts are on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. in the evening. During the week, that's when you meet with your tutor to help you with your projects. So it's a very long day. A lot of information is covered on Saturdays, and you are assigned your assignment. Once that's over, then as you're going throughout the week and you're completing your homework assignment, during the week is when you tap into whatever your class's schedule is, and you work with your tutor. Like if you have issues or if you need additional help, then you will jump on a Zoom call and you guys will work through that throughout the week. And those hours, when you sign up for open house, you'll know what those hours are for your class. But it's typically, it's always in the evening, because 90%, if not more, of our students are working adults who have jobs and have families. So it's just going to typically always be like starting at that 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the tutoring sessions during the week. And the upcoming cohort starts February 23rd. So that's the start date for the UX design cohort. And then the end date is whatever 8 weeks out from that is. I can't remember what it is right now. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I know that everyone signed in. The email address that you use to sign in, you guys will receive an email with like the next steps, the enrollment form, the application form for the scholarship. So make sure that when you signed in to log in here, that you actually entered the correct email address, because that's the email address that's gonna send you, that's the email address that will receive all of the information and the forms for application and enrollment and the scholarship enrollment. Yes, from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. Those are the days of class. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, all of our classes are on Saturdays. And yep. And then during the week, that's when you have your tutoring sessions with your tutor to help you work through your projects. No problem. Any other questions? All righty. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I was excited to meet you guys. I love all the questions that you gave. I look forward to seeing those of you who signed up on the other side. I will see you in class February 23rd. I'm the instructor for UX design. And until we meet again, you guys be awesome. And thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the school and to meet me. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.